Have you ever felt like you're standing at the foot of an impossibly high mountain or lost in the middle of a raging sea? Life has a way of throwing these monumental challenges at us, making us feel small and overwhelmed. It's a universal experience. But what if I told you that these mountains aren't meant to stop us, but to show us how high we can climb? What if these storms aren't there to drown us, but to teach us how to build a stronger ship? This is a story about the challenges that shape us, the moments of doubt that test us, and the incredible strength we discover when we refuse to give up. It's about the journey through the storm and the view from the summit. Let's start with an artist, someone whose world is built from color, light, and imagination. But right now, her world is gray. She's facing a creative block, a wall so solid she can't see over it. Every canvas is a taunt, every brush stroke feels wrong. The studio, once a sanctuary, is now a prison of frustration. Scraps of paper litter the floor like fallen leaves, each one a testament to a failed idea. She stares at the blank canvas, a void reflecting her own emptiness. The pressure to create, to be brilliant, is crushing. Days turn into nights, filled with self-doubt. Is the magic gone forever? This is the artist's storm, a silent, internal battle where the enemy is her own mind. She feels lost, adrift in a sea of creative silence, questioning the very core of her identity. But then, something small shifts. Exhausted and ready to surrender, she walks away from her studio. She wanders through the city at dawn, not looking for inspiration, just breathing. She notices the way the early light catches a dewdrop on a spiderweb, the intricate patterns of cracks in the pavement, the vibrant chaos of a street market coming to life. She's not trying to paint it, she's just seeing it. And in that moment of surrender, a tiny spark ignites. It's not a grand vision, just a flicker. A new color combination she hadn't considered, a texture she wants to recreate. She rushes back to her studio, not with the weight of expectation, but with a newfound sense of play. She picks up a brush, and for the first time in weeks, it doesn't feel like a weapon against herself. It feels like an extension of her hand, ready to explore. The first stroke of color hits the canvas, and it's not perfect, but it's alive. The block hasn't been shattered with a sledgehammer. It's been dissolved, gently, by a change in perspective. Now, let's turn our attention to the roaring crowd of a stadium. In the center of it all is an athlete, a runner at the peak of her career. Speed is her gift, the track her kingdom. But in a split second, everything changes. A misstep, a sharp, searing pain, and the roar of the crowd fades into the blare of an ambulance siren. The diagnosis, a career-threatening injury. The physical pain is immense, but the emotional agony is worse. The doctors talk about recovery in terms of months, maybe years, with no guarantee she'd ever compete at the same level again. Her world shrinks from the vastness of the track to the four walls of a physical therapy room. Every day is a grueling cycle of pain and repetition. The simplest movements she once took for granted are now monumental achievements. She watches her rivals break records while she struggles to just walk without a limp. The temptation to quit is a constant whisper in her ear. Doubt becomes her shadow. Is it worth it? Can she really come back from this? But the fire that made her a champion refuses to be extinguished. She channels her frustration into fuel. Every painful stretch, every agonizing exercise becomes a step back towards the track. She celebrates the small victories, the first jog, the first sprint, the feeling of the wind on her face again. Her comeback isn't a dramatic montage, it's a slow, gritty, unglamorous grind. It's waking up before sunrise to train when her body is screaming for rest. It's pushing past the pain day after day, driven by a vision of the finish line. She learns to listen to her body in a new way, to appreciate its resilience. This journey isn't just about healing a muscle, it's about forging an unbreakable will. The injury that almost ended her career is now the very thing making her stronger, more determined, and more grateful than ever before. Finally, imagine an entrepreneur. He poured his life savings, his heart, and all his waking hours into building his dream business. He saw a need, created a solution, and built a team. For a while, it worked. The business was his baby, and it was growing, but markets are fickle. A new competitor emerges, a shift in technology, and suddenly, the foundation begins to crumble. Sales plummet, the phone stops ringing. The vibrant office buzz quiets to an anxious whisper. He's staring at spreadsheets that tell a story of failure, facing the very real possibility of losing everything. The weight of his employees' livelihoods, his family's security, and his own shattered dream rests squarely on his shoulders. Sleepless nights are spent staring at the ceiling, replaying every decision, wondering where it all went wrong. He's at the brink, looking into the abyss of failure. Giving up seems like the only logical, albeit painful, option. But in the darkest hour, clarity can emerge. Instead of focusing on what he's losing, he forces himself to look at what he has left: a skilled team, a core technology, and a deep understanding of his industry. He realizes he wasn't just selling a product, he was solving a problem. So what if he could solve that problem in a new way? He pulls his team together, not to announce defeat, but to brainstorm. They pivot, it's a massive risk, a complete change in direction. They dismantle their old business model and start building something new from the wreckage. It's a frantic, desperate, and exhilarating process. They work with a renewed sense of purpose, united by the challenge. They're no longer just trying to save a failing business. They're creating a new one that's smarter, leaner, and more adaptable. He's not just an entrepreneur on the brink of failure anymore. He's a leader navigating a turnaround, transforming a near disaster into a second chance. Now, let's witness the turning point. The artist, guided by her renewed spirit, works with a feverish passion. The final piece is more than just a painting. It's a map of her journey through the darkness. It's raw, honest, and breathtakingly beautiful. The gallery opening is packed. People don't just see the colors and shapes. They feel the emotion, the struggle, and the ultimate triumph. It's hailed as her masterpiece. On the track, the athlete stands at the starting line. The announcer calls her name, mentioning her incredible comeback story. The starting gun fires. She runs not with the ghost of her injury, but with the power of her recovery. Each stride is strong, confident. The crowd is on its feet. There roar a tidal wave of support. She pushes through the final stretch, her lungs burning, her muscles screaming, and crosses the finish line. She may not have broken a world record, but in that moment, she has conquered the impossible. Her victory isn't just about a medal, it's about reclaiming her life. And the entrepreneur, his new venture takes off. The pivot was the right move. The new business is flourishing, exceeding even his original dreams. He looks at his team, celebrating their success, and knows that this victory is so much sweeter because of how close they came to failure. They didn't just survive, they evolved. So what do these stories tell us? They show us that challenges are not roadblocks. They are the raw material of our strength. The creative block forced the artist to see the world differently, leading to her greatest work. The injury taught the athlete the meaning of true resilience, making her victory more profound. The near failure gave the entrepreneur the vision to build something even better. Each one of them faced their mountain, they weathered their storm, and they emerged not just intact, but transformed. The struggles we face are what carve out the depth of our character. They teach us lessons we could never learn in comfort. They show us what we are truly made of. When you find yourself facing your own challenge, remember these stories. Remember that the struggle is part of the process. It's the pressure that creates the diamond, the fire that forges the steel. Don't run from the mountain, climb it. Because the view from the top, the perspective you gain, the strength you build, that is the true reward. You will look back from that summit not at an obstacle you overcame, but at the path that made you who you are. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that inspires. We'll see you in the next one.